So on our last video, who was this? Joseph Villegas commented, any chance we can get a discussion on thesis breakers to look out for with Enphase and or Tesla? And I said, that's not a bad idea and definitely something we're on the lookout for. Thanks for the comment. Really happy to have discovered you guys through Amit.
Amit's legit.
Yeah. Really happy to have discovered you guys through Amit. Bought some Enphase and it's the only thing significantly green in my portfolio. Great to have you. Amit is legit. So this is sort of a natural place to talk about it, like to talk about some of thesis breakers. And I mean, nothing really breaks my thesis on Tesla in terms of where it's going, but it's definitely the time frame for the massive returns that we're looking for continues to get pushed out further and further as there's more and more FUD. In other words, the campaign, the coordinated, non-coordinated campaign against Elon Musk and Tesla is working. It is keeping the stock price down where quarters with record deliveries are not being reflected in the stock price. You could argue that the valuation is already too high, but we know that Tesla's not just a car company. So to us, that's why we're buying it as much as possible. You can look on our Discord recently. I bought $6,500 worth of Tesla or something before AI Day, and I'll continue to pick up. So I don't know that there's any real thesis breakers in the sense like Tesla's going to fail. I don't think so, but I do think that this coordinated campaign, the FUD around him buying Twitter, like basically anything that the media can do to keep attention off of Tesla or spin them in a negative light is actually working and is so annoying on a personal level. But as an investor, it just gives me more time to accumulate shares.
Well, okay, so it is annoying. I want to counter what you're saying because I think Wall Street is doing the right thing. After studying, me and you have been studying now, like the market of Wall Street, like studying it, like looking at it every day. Like even if we don't want to learn anything, we have no choice. So after looking at how Wall Street reacts and acts towards companies that are high growth, they don't evaluate all the things that me and you are looking at. Like we know robo-taxi's coming eventually, but they really have no model for that because they don't know what to price it at. And I sort of agree with them. They really don't know, and we don't know. So when Wall Street looks at something like that and the Tesla bot and all these things that we know eventually will be there, the problem is how do you price that out for 2023, 2024? So I'm on the other side saying, I don't think it's FUD keeping the stock down now. The stock has been valued so richly, right? But for being a car company. So Wall Street is valuing it, like we're saying, as being a very successful car company. And they're not giving much, leeway towards the other businesses that are growing, like energy even. And that's a simple valuation.
I was just going to say, it's a very simple valuation. You can look at the numbers for the solar and it's growing.
I know, but they're very small right now. So Wall Street says, okay, well, it's still like 5% of your business. Like, honestly, all you do is sell cars, really. Let's face it. Face facts, Tesla. You mostly sell cars. Mm-hmm. So if you just look at that valuation, Tesla is very, 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 very highly valued, even currently. So I think when they miss numbers in terms of, even though it's record-breaking numbers, I'm not being a bear here. I actually am very bullish on Tesla. But when they miss any sort of deliveries, like by 20,000 cars or whatever it was last set,
I think they beat on production but missed on deliveries.
Yeah, possibly. But the point is that when Tesla does that, remember, they're being valued on not missing these numbers. They're actually being valued at 50% plus growth right now. That's why their PE has expanded and all that. And people might say, oh, it's a cheap PE. It's only like 40 or 50. Dude.
Twitter's PE is higher. Twitter's PE is higher right now.
Forget about Twitter for a second. I'm saying look at what Ford's PE is. Look at what GM's. And look, I know people are going to write in the comments, this is not Ford, this is not GM, dude. Yes, I know. I have Tesla shares, asshole. But that's not the point. The point is when Wall Street looks at it, we have to accept as investors how they're looking at things. That's all I'm saying, that if they're looking at things a certain way, let's look at it like in their eyes. That gives us an opportunity. So for example, this is what I'm doing. Tesla's falling down to probably $200. I actually have buys at 225, 208. These are levels that we can talk about in the chart if you actually want to go into it. And under 200. So I have these buys set up. The reason I believe it might actually hit these buys is because if you look at Q4, Tesla has a massive Q4 they're supposed to hit, like 460, 70,000 cars. They're supposed to hit that, okay? If they miss it by like 1,000 cars, who cares what they miss by? One car. I bet you anything Wall Street will hammer them. And if they hammer them, that means the stock drops under $200 because their growth, you're not growing 50% compounded. You're growing 47% compounded. My point is, this is how Wall Street thinks. Now that we know that that's how they think, let's not fight it. Let's
Yeah,
just
but it's kind of
accumulate as
double.
it drops.
Okay, but it's double speak to say that Tesla is just a car company and that's how Wall Street's evaluating it. When if you compare the forward PE to from a Ford and GM to Tesla, there's a big difference. So clearly they know that there is a difference there, because otherwise Tesla would
Yeah,
be
but
at a
that's why
seven.
they're valued. That's what I'm saying. They're already valued so high to hit these high growth numbers. As soon as they miss any of these numbers, that's it. They will be hit. And Enphase, when we talk about, just to answer this guy's question, if Enphase comes out in Q3 and has not grown 50% like they said they were going to grow, they're going to be totally smashed too.
Right.
That is,
But in that context, to directly answer the question, I don't think there's anything other than change of management or some massive issue in the world that can change my thesis on something like an Enphase or a Tesla.
you mean
And
the
that's
long
the
term
reason.
tail of it.
The long term, exactly. Because he's asking specifically for the thesis. Like the thesis of the company is this is the future, right? So unless we're changing what we're moving to, unless we're suddenly going hydrogen or something, nothing's going to change the thesis. All it does changes the time frame.
Yes.
If something were to change the thesis, then it would not be justified to be as large a percentage of the portfolio as it is. That's when you just have to start reallocating the capital,
No,
right?
the thesis, like you're saying, has been solidified. Okay, there is
Yes.
nothing in my mind when Tesla drops, $50 a day or whatever it was been dropping recently. It went from $300 to 235, right?
Yeah,
It dropped like
it dropped
$70.
like 8 or 10% in a day.
Yeah, but it dropped like $70 in the last couple of months. So who cares? The point is, the thesis of Tesla winning, it's like, oh my God, we are so far away from that happening, meaning like EVs are
Yeah.
what, 3%, 4%? So when people talk about competition and this and that, dude, we're destroying gas cars. We still have 97% of the market to take. Who cares about the 3% of EVs fighting it out?
And you have even more when you think of solar adaptation. There's even more to
Energy
go.
and all
So
that. Yes,
we're
yes.
still really young. We're still really early in this, and it's what's the word? It's easy to get impatient because it's like you see this and you're like, come on, guys! Like, what is everybody
Right.
waiting for? And that's why all
What is
this
taking so long?
FUD is so annoying. Like even the FUD that happened at the end of after AI Day. I'm just like, how are we comparing this to Boston Dynamics? Like, does anyone listen to what Elon is saying? Does anyone listen to what or understand what was really on display there? They took the self-driving computer out of a car, put it in a robot that uses hands, not wheels, and it's able to understand natural language and do useful things. Who cares if Boston Dynamics can do backflips? The thing only does backflips. Would you rather have a robot in your house that can do backflips on command or that can take out the trash? Like that's the level we're
Okay, okay.
talking.
So the AI day, like you're now speaking sideways because now you're talking about something that they can't value at all. This is what I go back to, like the Wall Street thing. They can't value something like that, even if it's super impressive, even if they get it. And I doubt they get it, by the way. I think they don't understand this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm saying, but even if they got it, there is no actual, there's no tangible thing that happens at Tesla in terms of making revenue off of that in the next year or two. That's just not that's not existent. There's no robot in a year or two that they're selling. Do you agree?
Okay, I'll tell you how
Hold
you
on, do
can.
you agree?
All right. No, I don't think so. And I'll
You
tell
think
you
they're
why.
selling a robot in a year or two?
No, not that they're selling a robot. But I think that there is a way to price this in, even if you don't fully understand what it is. And not because of the robot as a product, but because of the technology that's running in it. If you're look, you know that eventually cars are going to drive themselves and someone has to be first. If
Right.
you're seeing that Tesla put the self-driving computer from a Tesla and retrained it to work in a robot, even if you're not calculating the robot sales, even if you think the robot's going to fail, that should be a sign that their full self-driving technology, their natural world camera system is much more robust than people think, and that you don't need lidar, radar. You don't need all these things. This robot is able to use vision only, and that's the system that's in the cars. So just off of that, just off of the fact that the self-driving computer and that technology is in the robot should reflect a little bit in the numbers. I'm not saying much.
It does. I already hear. Look, I've said this a number of times. Look at the PE of Tesla. Look at the PE of Ford and GM. It's already reflected in it. That's what I keep going at.
Right, but you
Everybody's
could
like,
say everything. You could say anything that they announce for the next. You could say the Cybertruck's already baked in. If you really wanted to, you could say, well, it's a 45 P
Cybertruck.
or whatever it is.
I agree.
You
By
know
the
what
way,
I'm saying?
Cybertruck is not baked in, and I think
And that's coming, and that's a real product that's coming.
Coming next year, and I think that's actually going to happen, but I don't think that's baked in. I think as soon as it's really announced, I think Wall Street immediately ups their target. Like honestly, but that's because this is once again I go back to how does Wall Street
It's supposed to drive in water
Hold
now.
on, Wall Street works in quarters. We know this. Come on, let's
Yes.
face it. They work in quarters, and they're like, okay, next quarter is Tesla going to have the Cybertruck? No, erase it. Okay, is there going to be a bot? No, erase it. Is there FSD? No, erase it. What are they doing? They're selling cars. Put that in the model.
Okay, you know what? To your point, I'm actually going to say something to defend Wall Street. Okay, because I feel like
Finally.
No, I'm going to say something to defend Wall Street.
These billionaires need
because
defending, by the way. Go ahead. These billionaires need defending, and I want to hear it.
yeah, those poor guys. I know, poor guys. What do they call it? They call it God, there's a term for it. Simping.
I don't know, never heard of it.
It's when you're sympathizing. Yeah, like
okay.
now I'm simping for the billionaires. No, you bring up a good point. That Wall Street thinks in quarters. And a lot of times, even us, we've been guilty of this, where we hammer Wall Street or we're very critical of Wall Street for not thinking in the future, not thinking 5 years out down the road, 10 years down the road. The difference is they have different considerations because of the fact that they operate in quarters. They have to show returns in the quarters. If your mom's money, right, is in a 401k, you want to know that they're getting consistent returns for their clients over the sake of the quarter. So they have a fiduciary responsibility to think in quarters, even if in their personal accounts they might be accumulating Tesla hand over foot, right? In their business, they can't sell that to investors.
Yeah.
So it's something that I don't really factor in myself. I'm like, why don't these idiots factor in, like the bot or whatever? But they really can't, because if your mom's money was in there and it's a 50-50 chance, if it's a coin toss, first of all, that it's going to happen. And second of all, the time frame, I wouldn't want my mom's money in there,
Right. So you're bringing up actually the best, most valid point. Even if they are thinking long terms, even if they understand AI Day, they understand all the technology, they just can't price it and affect the return of some, like you said, like pension. Like for example, if they have these big pension funds that buy S&P, they can't be betting on FSD and Tesla bots in a decade. Like imagine how much money would be pulled out of there if they started losing like a year or two of bad.
That's the thing. Yeah, people would start selling out of the funds. So it is a give and take. The Wall Street machine, the investment machine, is such a complicated, delicate house of cards,
and
when
brutal.
You really think,
Very brutal.
Yes. When the selling happens, it's indiscriminate, man. They don't care.
When the thesis is failing, they don't care. They will sell it. They don't care. It's gone.
Yeah, I mean, just take a look at Nikola stock right now. As an example, look at any one of those star stocks of the 2020s. All the SPACs, hammered, just destroyed. So yeah, it is something that we don't often think about, but when you said that, it brought that to my mind, that I have to consider that too, that they're not investing with their own money.
So I'm going to talk about this chart in a second, but I want to bring up the fact that all day we are on the Discord and we are chatting about Tesla like crazy, guys. So if you want to go join us, it is free to join our Discord. Of course, we have a Patreon if you want to support us at $4.99. And honestly, I think we offer a lot of value, right? I mean, and we're good looking.
I have fun. I have fun. I mean, if I had more time, this is what I would be doing with it, to be honest, aside from playing with my kid. Like, I like that front light pilot.
Join our Discord. Obviously, we talk about Tesla. We talk about Enphase. So I'm just pointing that we do that. So guys, come on down. It's free to join this part.
Show some of the recent trades.
Sure, I'll share some trades, and this is only for Patreon members who join even at the $4.99 level. So
right, you have access to our personal trades,
and you can ask us. So we have been having discussions, obviously, with some people about our trades. The Pilot loves to participate in discussing about. The
trades. Every time you post something, Pilot has something to say.
Yes, and
he's one of the more active patrons. Yeah.
Definitely. Thank you, Pilot. And so here we have, I am buying quality stocks right now, which is going to be Tesla soon, not yet, but I'm buying like Alphabet, Amazon. Let me see what I bought last. I have, Realty Income Corp for the dividends.
That's a nice one.
Baby. I love that one. Okay.
They pay monthly, that one.
Yeah, it pays every month. It's great. I treat it like a cash account, and I just buy some of that every now and then. You're buying Tesla, I believe, right? So here's your.
Yeah, I did too. That was in the M1. I picked up three grand worth of Tesla at like 240 or something, and then I bought. That was also buying. Those were some of my daily buys of Cardano. Buying some crypto the last couple of months. There was some Doge picking up on that. I wanted to get to certain numbers, and then I picked up some more Tesla in the E-Trade.
Okay, so otherwise, guys, join us at the Patreon. You can see more of our trades. You can talk to us privately. You can ask us questions about our trades. And obviously, we have other discussions, member updates, stock alerts, things that we do only for our members. Okay, so now let's go to the chart of Tesla just because I'm interested in
Yeah,
showing this
talk
to you.
over it.
I do follow this very closely when I should buy Tesla. Okay, and if you look at it, this is not a good sign for Tesla, by the way. I'll zoom out in a second because when you look at the bigger trend, this is actually not a very good positive sign here. So we might be in some bad territory with the stock because it has failed some critical this critical chart line that I have that's going back a couple of years now. It's actually failed it and it's broken down. So I'm hoping if we are staying bullish, we actually stay in this trend. You see the blue line I have here?
Yeah.
That I hope we stay here, but this is why I'm buying at the 225 level and even at the 208. So I have these two buys set up, like 208, 210. This is what I actually set up, like a bunch of shares in both.
You can see there's a lot of support for the 205
There's some
level.
support, right? And there's some support here at 180. So we can look back in time and see that. That's possible we get back down there. So my worry is that if we go underneath 208, I don't think this will hold, this 180. I don't know what the bottom is for Tesla. Maybe it's 150. I have no idea, honestly. All I know is that I'll be buying on the way down.
Mhm.
I'm just saying that right now, 225 is my current support. If it breaks that, it's 208. After that, it's 180. And then, honestly, this is very dangerous territory. It can fall apart really fast because I keep going back to what Wall Street says. If Wall Street says they miss another number, like quarter four, and that comes out and they miss by 5,000 cars, even though they sold like 500,000 cars, by the way, almost like 450,000, 460, doesn't matter. Best year ever. I think Wall Street will punish them, and I think they'll bring their PE back in line to what a company that's slowing down in growth. And we know that's BS. Please don't leave in the comments how I'm full of shit, okay? Because I know it's all BS. 5 years from now, this is going to be a crazy price on this stock. 200 will seem idiotic. That's what I think. But in the meantime, I think we have an opportunity to buy on the way down. That's what I'm doing. I want to show you the monthly because we've broken our major support on the monthly. So if you can see, Tesla has been in this trend going up right up until this point, and it was holding it, by the way. It was like bouncing off of it. We have went underneath it. So that's actually, it's pretty dangerous. I'm not going to lie that short term, this is not a bull market for Tesla right now. Does that make sense right here?
Oh no, yeah, yeah, I can see that. I mean, you can see it's now. We're now the first month.
Bounced,
Yeah,
bounced, failed.
right. We need we would need a strong month. We would need a strong month to say that maybe we're possibly recovering from this.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think that's part of the reason too why the Twitter deal was announced today. Elon announced, what was it? This was yesterday. Buying Twitter is an accelerant to creating X, the everything app. I think Elon's not a stupid guy. You know, look, he posted that Tesla is no longer expediting a lot of these deliveries to meet the end of the quarter deadlines. The backlog is enough, and the production numbers are, I don't know, I think they have a week, maybe 2 weeks of inventory in stock. So he's already announced, I think before the delivery numbers came out, he said, we're not going to hit the numbers, or we're not going to pay all this money to expedite these and basically lose money in our margins by trying to get them out by a specific day. They'll just be there a week or so later. So we can expect that these are just going to roll over to the next quarter. I do think that Wall Street should have taken that into account. But again, like if they're just being really strict with the end of the quarter, then that is what it is. I actually think it's a sign of strength for Tesla to not be concerned with that overall. But I do think that Elon is not completely ignorant to the macro forces outside, which for Tesla, most of it is just FUD. If you were really looking at this, just the numbers, you know that this company is a slam dunk. That's part of the reason why I think he did buy Twitter, which was to just finally get rid of that. Like you said, to not have, what was it? October 6th was he was supposed to do his deposition. That was going to be another day to hammer the stock. And I think obviously he doesn't need the money, but other people are really invested in Tesla stock. And I think it was a gift to investors. Say, look, why don't we just do it? We got the money already. Let's just buy it. The problem is that he's now looking for debt financing when the debt is not really cheap. So there is some negatives to it. But I think he figured might as well just do it all now, roll it all in. This is going to be a horrible week for Tesla stock. And then we can get past this and look forward into more brighter things in the future. Because the other thing about Wall Street is it has a short memory.
I do want to point out the positive, which it sounds like I'm a bear. I'm a bear who owns a lot of Tesla stock, by the way. Okay, I'm a Gary Black bear.
Yeah.
Gary Black bear.
Yeah. It's pretty
That's
funny.
great. But Gary Black is like, I actually love him a lot because look, he's being honest. He talks like a Wall Street dude. He's saying like what Wall Street's thinking. I like that. I like that a lot. It's not just fanboy bullshit that you hear all over the place. Okay.
Yeah.
So, so I like what Gary's saying. And the thing I think that nobody's considering, at least in Wall Street terms, not regular people like me and you are considering this. What happens when this tax credit in 2023 goes into effect? Okay. What happens to first quarter sales of Tesla when they drop their prices and the tax credit is there? If that happens, I mean, this is a slam dunk, like you're saying. Quarter one, see, I'm saying quarter three and quarter four are not slam dunks. I never said anything about quarter one and quarter two. I think quarter one, quarter two, quarter three, quarter four are going to be absolutely spectacular because Tesla will not be able to keep up with the demand, especially
But you're right, and you've also got that's 2-3 more months that you get
of
for Texas
buying.
to continue to ramp up.
I'm buying Tesla in the
Right. So
meantime.
we get
while
the
Wall
right, we
Street
get the
slams it.
right. We get the chance to continue to pick up Tesla shares throughout the year. Meanwhile, the Texas factory continues to ramp up.
And
The
Germany.
right, and Germany, which will handle some of the stuff in Europe. They'll probably announce the next gigafactory. I think by the end of the year. I mean, he's smart to play it, right? I think he'll announce a new gigafactory, whether it's Canada or in Berlin. We get the chance to accumulate these shares in Q1 or in the beginning of the new year. The tax credit goes into effect. Orders go through the roof, and they can actually sustain. They can actually produce enough of these vehicles to
I
get to
still
get
don't
the
think they can produce enough. I still think they're production limited for the amount of orders that will come in.
right for the number of orders that will come in. Right,
Look, if
right.
I didn't have an order right now, I would 100% wait for January 1st. 100%. If I didn't have an
Yeah.
order from last year.
Right. It's so close to the end of the year. Right. It's so close to the end of the year. You might as well just hold off and wait if you're going to be waiting a
A
few
lot
months
of people
anyway.
are waiting for $7,500 and when they're looking at the options, Tesla is an easy option to buy, especially if it's like almost $10,000 less.
Just looking at some of the reactions. Buying Twitter is an accelerant to creating X, the everything app. I need to do more research about what he means with this, but I think Elon's purchase of Tesla, and I've said it in our previous video. We'll link to it here. The video when he announced he wanted to buy Twitter. Twitter, I think Elon's media defense. They're not going to have a PR department. I think that's what Twitter is. He spent $44 billion to have a PR department that he can directly control, where he's got access to hundreds of millions of people. And if you're the mainstream media, you're forced to cover what he says. And I think if he controls the app and he open sources the algorithm and makes sure that, because like he had a thing where, did you see the text messages that were released between him and
The
Parag?
court, yes. It was kind of brutal towards Elon, yes.
Elon sent over a tweet to Parag that was from Stephen Mark Ryan, actually, of solving the money problem, when he was asking, like, essentially, what would your intentions be with Twitter? And I could try to pull it up here, but I could also tell you. Stephen Mark Ryan basically said that Elon has three main goals with Twitter. Number one is to preserve and protect free speech. Number two is to open source the algorithm. And number three is to eliminate the echo chambers, the digital information echo chambers. Those are his three main
And number
goals.
4 is to fire Parag.
Oh, he's gonna fire him twice. Absolutely, it's gonna fire him publicly. They're gonna be a pay-per-view.
You ever seen Ari Gold from Entourage? He comes in
Yes.
with a Nerf gun and he starts blasting people he's fired.
I can see Elon doing the same thing, except with the not a flamethrower.
Right, exactly.
So the point is, this Twitter purchase checks multiple boxes for Elon. I think he really does want to be the shepherd of free speech, and he sees the danger of where America could go, because we see what it's like in other countries when there isn't free speech. I mean, when the scuffle happened over there on the other side of the world, the first thing that was attempted was to cut off communications, because you understand that a knowledgeable civilization is a dangerous civilization, and that information is power. I think he's trying to get ahead of that. I also think he needs this to be sort of the PR arm of Tesla, to be able to control some of the information and get it directly from the horse's mouth, and also to eliminate these echo chambers that cause people, that make the FUD so effective.
And
Right?
get rid
I
of these
think
bots. Get rid of all these bots. Too.
yeah, and that was one of his objectives.
I just want to point out, and before we end it, we should wrap this up, but I want to point out that Elon Musk is the kind of person that, okay, first of all, I hate being a fanboy. I'm not. But
Right.
in
But if
50
you give
years,
him credit, you give him credit.
in 50 years, there's going to be a statue, obviously, of him. Just like we have like Benjamin Franklin and we have Tesla,
Yes.
Nikola Tesla, statues of these people and paintings and all this, and their museums. This guy is going to be remembered forever for changing the world. And it's sad that we can't give him credit while he's alive, meaning like the mainstream media can't give him that credit because they get incentivized to not give him that
And
credit.
not give him the credit.
So,
Yeah.
and I wonder what happened in the past when, and I think the same thing happens always. Nikola Tesla didn't get the credit when he was alive. So my point is, I don't think when you're alive and you're making these amazing moves, you're actually getting the same credit you will 50 years, 100 years from that point on. So in the future, I expect we'll be dead, but Elon Musk will probably live on as some sort of bronze statue in front of the Museum of Science. Do you know what I'm saying? And
Absolutely.
people are going to recognize what he did. They're just not going to recognize it today. Most people.
A lot of the people that are responsible for the fundamental understandings that we base our civilization on did not get the credit while they were alive. And it's not that they didn't deserve the credit or they weren't people that believed it. It's just that Elon Musk's success threatens too many people and threatens too many industries. A lot of people lose money. And so they're doing what they can to protect their interests. But for us, we have to look at it in two ways. On a personal level, it does hurt me that this man is not revered the way that he should be revered. But as an investor, it is artificially keeping the stock price low, allowing me to accumulate more shares, build the position that I want. Because I do feel that there's a point where even if they give him 50% more credit than he deserves, that's a big number for us.
Yes,
right?
massive.
He might not get 100%, but even if he gets 50% more credit, or if and when FSD launches and it's safer than human beings, I mean, there are a lot of positive milestones that we know about with Tesla. FSD being announced and released and being certified as safer than a human being is a milestone that we'll be alive for. That's going to be a positive catalyst for our stock. The Cybertruck being released is going to be a really positive catalyst for the stock. Then there's other things. There's other things he's doing, whether it be with SpaceX, the Boring Company, rental companies picking up, getting these fleets. There's a lot of positive catalysts that we know are like just on the horizon, even aside from a robotaxi fleet. That could be 2 or 3 years down the line. Aside from the robot, which is 5 years down the line. So we're still early in this game. It's just really frustrating when you have this great news, or it's like you have a secret and you want to share with everyone, and no one wants to hear it right now. So all we can do is just make that much more money in the future. I just don't want to wait too long, but I'm going to take the opportunities as they come.
So, guys, if you like this episode, I know we did have a little bit of Elon love, but I promise you, I am no fanboy. I see it as pragmatically that he is helping change the world, and he's helping make my portfolio great. So let's hit like and subscribe. Hit the
Make
bell.
your portfolio great again. Yes.
Make your portfolio great again.
Please hit like, hit subscribe. Join us on Discord. If you like this kind of content and you want to support us, please consider becoming a patron. Thanks for watching.